on a cloudy and rainy Tuesday morning. A little late. Bad job out of me, but here we are. Back live and with you on this Tuesday morning. Welcome on into the bullpen. Lot to get to today. Man, I'm a mess, dude. Look at me. I mean, I got a grubby beard. My hair's a mess. What happened to me? I'm going for a haircut and a cleanup. I'm going see my girl Jen today. She's going to clean me up. I'll have her shave the beard, fix up the hair. So I apologize for you having to look at me so messy like this. Not that you give a rat's ass what I look like. But anyway, we got plenty to do, plenty to get to today. Some good guests coming up on the podcast this week. Jay Gruden, longtime NFL coach, the brother of John Gruden, of course. We'll speak to him this week. And Mary Kay Cabot back from England and another Browns loss. She'll be live with me on Thursday morning. So plenty to get to there. Browns, of course, if you join me, and a lot of you joined me after the podcast. I appreciate the fact that so many people, we have over 20,000 views on Sunday's postgame. So I appreciate that. If you have a question, if you have a comment, of course, throw it in the YouTube chat, and we'll get to it. And as you see right there, post-game show back again this Sunday. Browns back to playing at the normal 1 o'clock time. They're in Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. The next time the Browns will play a game that's not a 1 o'clock is scheduled for November the 16th. Against the Ravens at home. Who knows if they change that game time because both teams stink right now. The AFC North's a weird place, folks. I mean, we haven't seen this in a very long time. The division is not very good. When's the last time you said that about the AFC North? All four teams have a negative point differential. The Browns have the fourth worst point differential in the AFC. The Bengals have the worst point differential in all of the NFL. The Ravens not much better. Now, their offense obviously has been very good outside of this past week. But still, I mean, the Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens, they all stink right now. Obviously, the Bengals and Ravens are without their quarterbacks. Ravens quarterback should be back sooner. But they've given up 177 points so far this year. That is by far the most. I think the second most is the Cowboys at 154. Yeah. Oh, no. The Bengals are second most. No. The Jets have given up 157, the Bengals 156, and then the Cowboys at 154. But the Ravens have allowed 177 points and have dropped 3 straight on the season. We all know what happened with the Browns this weekend. I'm going to get back to it, but I just want to continue celebrating the good stuff here for a minute. Let me and I talked about it right at the end of UCSS yesterday, but I wanted to bring it up here for those who are locked in with me all the time. But, I love to talk about coaching the kids, my son, and, some and his friends and kids we've met along the way. Coach Little League and coach fall ball with the kids as well. And this past Sunday, we won the 6th, 7th grade fall ball championship. It's called the Rocky River Fall Baseball League for those who live in the area and know the area. But it's not just Rocky River kids. Our league is open to kids from any town, city, whatever in Cleveland. I technically don't even have to be from Cleveland. You could be from Pennsylvania and drive an hour and a half or whatever and play in the league. There are no restrictions as long as they're of appropriate age. Every kid is welcome to play. Most of the kids that play in the league are from Rocky River, Lakewood, Westlake, Bay Village, and probably Fairview, because we're on the west side. So it's not. We have a kid or two that travel from the east side to play though, which is funny. But anyway, so this Sunday, for those who've been following along and may be interested in such things, it was the championship game was scheduled for 4:00 in the afternoon, but In the semifinals, our game got suspended due to darkness. It tied at 9. You play 6 innings at this age, and we rallied. Our team rallied in the bottom of the 6th to tie the game at 9. We were down 9-6. We tied it, and we had a runner thrown out at the plate, which was going to send it to extra innings, but the game got suspended. So this Sunday morning, we first had to finish that game. Our pitcher got the other team out 1-2-3 in the top of the 7th, and we got a walk-off hit in the bottom of the 7th. So that brought us to the championship game. Our opponent scored. We were the home team because of the higher seed. Our opponent scored 4 runs in the top of the 1st. We came right back with 4 in the bottom of the 1st, and it was a close game going to the bottom of the 4th. We were up 8-6 going to the bottom of the 4th, and we kind of put it away there. We scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 4th, and they missed an opportunity with 2nd and 3rd, 1 out in the top of the 5th. Our third baseman caught a low-line drive and stepped on third for a double play. Could have been a different game there. My son Aaron made the final play of the game. He made a running catch in the outfield to grab a fly ball to end the game. So the kids were really excited. They dumped a bucket of Gatorade over my head. That was gross, but also awesome. So I just wanted to shout out all the kids because, you know, I've been coaching a lot of these kids for years. They're great kids, most importantly. I really focus, you know, we talk about winning and having fun and you know, obviously you want to win. I'm not one of these people who's like, winning doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is having fun. No, having fun is really important, but you also want to win. But what I always say to the kids is we want to win, but not at all costs. Not at all costs. We don't want to win. We want to win with class, right? Kind of like Daniel LaRusso in The Karate Kid. You want to win with class. You want to win with honor. And most importantly, I have 13 kids on this team that played with honor and played with class. They were good. They showed good sportsmanship. They showed good leadership and teamwork. And all the kids from the best player to the worst player all played together with great teammates. And they're great kids. And so let me just mention all the kids. Well, I you know what? I'm not going to start naming names. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm just proud of all the boys, and it's really cool. So now we have the All-Star game this week, and if you're not interested in my baseball stories, then I'm sorry I bored you for the last few minutes. But anyway, it was exciting, and the kids were so excited to win, and they had a lot of fun. They got trophies, and it was all really cool. They signed a baseball to me at the end, which really was touching, and I just love it. I love, you know, their enthusiasm, and I think, you know, seeing kids just play ball and have fun, it reminds you of the good things in this world. Sometimes the world can be a dark place and a depressing place, and you know, you get around a bunch of kids that are having fun and learning baseball and being respectful and taking to the coaching well, listening to every, you know, and shout out to the guys who coached with me. They did a great job. Brandon Johnson, Jeff Klingman, Sean Fritz, great assistant coaches, great guys too. And anyway, love the kid, love them, loved coaching them, and it was just so much fun. Anyway, Z saying I should get frosted tips. I actually dyed my hair blonde when I was in college briefly, if you can imagine that. I should find a picture. I got a picture in my phone here somewhere. I won't search for it now, but I did dye my hair blonde. And to be honest, I went to college. I went to college right out of high school. Then I dropped out and, you know, worked real jobs for a while. And I went back to school when I was 25, right? 25? Yeah, I was 25. And so I didn't graduate college till I was 29. I just turned 29. But at some point I don't remember what year it was, but some point when I went back to college in my 20s, I dyed my hair blonde. And I'm sure you can guess why I did it. It was for a girl. I was interested in a girl. She told me I'd look good with blonde hair. So I did it. Didn't get me anywhere with the girl. I think I looked like an idiot. But anyway, I did it. Any other advice on my hair? Andre says I should get a mohawk. Yeah, I think I'd look pretty stupid, like that guy Hawk, the kid Hawk on what do you call it? Not the Karate Cobra Kai show. No, I don't think I don't even know. Or, I mean, I don't even have enough hair for a mohawk. I don't think at the moment. Will Y Production says I need cornrows. That would be awesome. Can you do cornrows with a white guy's hair? I don't even know. I would have no idea. But I would. I mean, I think it would look. I would love to try it. That would be cool. I don't know. I don't know if you could do that. Ken Adams, get a haircut like McNuggets. His hair is cool. I mean, he's got longer hair than me, and his hair is blonde. It's different. I mean, I guess that doesn't matter. That's stupid. Big J Bone says we've all looked like idiots for a girl at some point. I appreciate the support, Big J Bone. Brooks and Vlogs calls me the GOAT. I appreciate that, Brooks and Vlogs. Corcorex says, you think you will still coach when Aaron is grown and gone? I don't know. I mean, I love coaching. Aaron being on the team makes it more special, you know. And I love that the kids, like all his friends, you know, I know his friends better because I've coached most of them, and that's cool. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'll do. I know I think as he got older, he would like to be a coach with me. So maybe. I just love, watching these kids, the excitement they get from succeeding, from improving, from the accomplishments that they get. And I look out, I care about, I run the fall league, like along with a few other guys and girl, because our board of directors, there's 5 of us, and I look out for the other kids too. When we won the semifinal game, the kid who pitched and took the loss, and we line up. We still have the kids line up and shake hands after the game, which I think is great for sportsmanship. And the kid who was pitching was crying. I felt so bad for that kid. And I know he's a kid because he's not from River, so the River kids I know better because I've been coaching them longer. I'm getting to know some of these other kids from some of the other towns. And this kid I didn't know very well, but he did a heck of a job. I felt bad for him. He was crying. I told him to keep his head up, and he did a good job. But I just think sports, you learn so many good lessons, and I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of what we're teaching, and I got mad in the championship game once at the umpire because the umpire missed a call, and I apologize to the umpire after not even after the game, after the next inning, because in the moment sometimes you get a little carried away, and you want to be a good example for the kids. I think we all as adults need to think about that when we say and do things, certainly including myself, about what kind of example are we setting for our children out here. I know I'm off the beaten path at this point. I don't know, but you got to do it once in a while. All right. Money says, do you have any possible head coach candidates for next year? I'm not sure why, but I keep going back to Josh McCown. Ugh. I said on Sunday that I'm ready to move on from Kevin Stefanski. Let's give him the rest of the season to see if he could change my mind and the mind of anybody else that wants him gone. I think it's unlikely at this point, but you never know. I've already changed my mind a couple of times on Stefanski, but I think the coaching search needs to begin, in my opinion, but I'm not convinced that anybody's getting fired at the end of the year, and maybe that's the right call. Time will tell, but there's very good reason to believe that because Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry were not fired at the end of last season, that they won't be fired at the end of this season. Let's see. Big J-Bone, get the look like on your photo back. That's pretty cool looking. Yeah, I mean, the photo for this show, to be fair, I mean, I was much younger then. That was a picture that actually Dustin and I took. We were taking, it was probably in the first 2 years of Bull and Fox, so it was probably 2012 or 2013. So I had just turned 40. And we went, and I had lost some weight at that point. And we went to the stadium, Brown Stadium, and we just took a bunch of pictures there. And I think in that picture of me there, it was actually Dustin and I were like standing next to each other or back to back or something. I don't know. They had to take a million pictures. I like that picture, but I got to get that look back, man. First of all, my beard wouldn't be looking like that because my beard would have a lot more gray in it, as you could tell. You know, you got plenty of gray, especially in the temples and stuff, but plenty of gray throughout. But I pointed to the wrong side as I turned my head. So I don't know that I'm getting that back, but we'll see. Let's see, Doug. Look at last year's draft picks are thriving in baseball. We have the number one pick who's a bust. Well, that's some of them are, sure. That's not fair to call Travis Pisano a bust. Can he get to the big leagues first? I mean, it's only his second year of minor league baseball. That's unfair to call him a bust. Yeah, right now you'd rather have Nick Kurtz, obviously, but let's give the guy some time before calling him a bust. We'll talk a lot more baseball in the offseason, but stick with the football and me waxing poetic for now. Jay, I agree. Good job, Bull. Thank you, Jay. Corker X, those kids will always remember Coach Bull. You make a difference to them. Thank you, man. I hope so. The kids are, I think the kids bring out the best in me too. I get down on myself sometimes, and I beat up myself for things, especially about my weight, which is, whatever. Man, I'm really going down a road today. But the kids, I am hopefully making a big impact on them in a very positive way, and they're making a big impact on me too. I love their interactions. I love how nice they are with each other. I love how they pick each other up when, like my son has been in a slump at the plate, right? He is really struggled. He had a great season at Little League, got off to a good start in fall ball, and the last few games, he just was scuffling. And I noticed, like, every time he was getting down on himself, another teammate was walking up to him, trying to pick him up. And when he made the game-ending catch, he made a really nice catch in the outfield. Didn't let his struggles at the plate, affect his defense. And he makes this nice running catch. And even though we had a big lead, and if he had dropped it, it wouldn't have been a big deal. We still probably would have won. The entire team went running out to him in the outfield to, like, jump up and down with him because he made the game-ending catch. And that's when parents, the families of the kids that I've coached, overwhelmingly, right now, every single family is awesome, but almost every family of kids I've coached over the years has been 99% really great families, and it's cool. Let's see. Jeffrey Champion, let's bring in John Gruden. I have no interest in John Gruden. He's not coming back to the NFL. I don't know. I have his brother Jay on this week. Maybe Jay Gruden. But John's, let's face it, he's getting blackballed by the league here. He's suing the league. He's not coming back. Illitimer, good stuff, Bull. Now you just have to brainwash all of them to be Browns fans and get some Browns fans with these new generations. It's fascinating. A lot of these kids, when we played the championship game at 4, right? I said, did you guys watch the Browns game? And none of them watched the game. A lot of these kids, and they all like sports. Like, they have their own, the kids on my team have their own fantasy league, right? And yet they don't watch a lot of Browns football, a lot of these kids. I mean, certainly there's kids in the school, whatever, but I don't see a ton of Browns paraphernalia when with these kids in school. I really don't. Not that I'm in the school, but as they're going to school, coming home, whatever. Some of them watching other teams. Some of them just care about fantasy football. It's really interesting. And the ineptitude of this organization for the past quarter century is really, really, if you between the team being stolen out of Cleveland and then the ineptitude since they've been back has really hurt, the following amongst younger fans. Will Smith, publisher, people finally understand it's not about Shador, it's the coaching. You can't change a Ferrari into a Volkswagen. Adjust to the player's strength and ability. Yeah, I mean, listen, Shador aside, Kevin Stefanski just hasn't done good enough job. The team's trending in the wrong direction. They've scored 20 or more points in 3 of their last 24 games, including the playoff game against Houston in 2023. Now, think about that for a minute. You have scored less than 20 points in 21 of 24 games. You're the head coach and the offensive coordinator. And by the way, in games that Kevin Stefanski has called the plays during that time, the Browns have not. I believe he's called. I believe. I can't remember the exact number. It's either somewhere between 15 and 17. I'll have to double check it. I'll say 16. I think it's 16. The last 16 games that Kevin Stefanski's been the play caller, the Browns have not scored 20 or more points. Not once. The only 3 times in the last 24 games that they've scored 20 or more points with Jameis Winston. And for those games, Ken Dorsey was the play caller. Jeffrey says, do you think Jim Schwartz would be interested in the head coaching job? To me, Jim Schwartz is one of those guys. He's a coordinator. He's not a head coach. I think we all too often make the mistake, and maybe I'm wrong about that. You know, maybe with a second opportunity to be a head coach. He was the head coach of the Lions from 2009 to 2013. Maybe a decade plus later, he'd do a better job as head coach. I don't know. But I think that I think the way we as fans, I think the way we as media cover coaching hirings, and most importantly and most egregiously, I think the way teams hire coaches is completely flawed very often. This is who every year, who are the hot coaching candidates? They're the guys who had the most success as coordinators the year before. Those are often the hottest coaching candidates. We saw that with Ben Johnson this past year. And being a good play caller, and that's it. Ben Johnson ultimately was that the only reason he was hired? I'm sure no, and I don't mean to pick on him or use just him. But from a fan perspective, everybody was excited about Ben Johnson, who had been the Lions offensive coordinator, to be the head coach of the Bears. Why? For one reason. One, that when he was the play caller for the Lions, they had success, a lot of success as an offense, right? And so everybody assumes that's going to translate. Well, the Lions offense, and then on top of that, remember in week 1, the Lions got smoked by the Packers, right? They lost 27-13. The offense looked terrible. And there was a lot of talk after week 1. Oh, I don't know about the Lions without Ben Johnson. Don't know about him. Don't know about him. Since that first game, they've scored 52, 38, 34, and 37. To be fair, 2 of those teams that they scored against, the Bengals and Ravens, are terrible defenses. But the other 2, the Browns, not a terrible defense, very good defense. And the Bears, I don't know. That's Ben Johnson's, former team. The Bears have won. The Bears defense, is probably middle of the road. They held the Cowboys, who have a pretty good offense, to 14 points. So, and again, Ben Johnson's 2-2. He may turn out to be a great coach, but just because you're a good coordinator, there's different skills. Being a great play caller doesn't, to me, in any way make you a great head coach. There are skills you need to be a great head coach that you don't need to be a great play caller. And that's the problem. We've seen that with Josh McDaniels. We've seen it with so many guys. And that's why I think, the biggest reason, to me, the biggest reason why so many coaching hires fail is that teams hire guys for the wrong reasons. And it's hard. You don't know for sure, especially with a coach that's never been a head coach before. How do you know? Right? How do you know? And then the second time around, it's like, well, the game has changed. And it's hard. It's really hard to tell if a guy's going to be a good coach, but I think we do it in such a bad way. Austin R says Joe Brady, Big J-Bone, bring back Pettin. Nah. Debbie Hartwick, the 2026 draft class, not looking promising right now. It's still the first week of October. Let's give it some more time before we write off every quarterback in this draft. I'm not saying that any of them are going to definitely be good. I'm just saying it's too early to say. Browns and Vlogs. Brooks and Vlogs says the Browns need a new name, new colors, new logo. You can't change the name. I don't know. I mean, if the majority of fans wanted to change the name, I wouldn't be against it. That seems crazy, and I can't imagine the fans would be in favor of that. But if you, as the Browns fan base, voted to change the name, I wouldn't say it's a bad idea. I just can't imagine that fans would want that. I wouldn't advocate for it unless the fans wanted it to happen, and I don't think that's the case. And you can't change the colors. I guess you could change the colors a little bit. I think the Browns need to go with more of like a matte look and maybe add in another color. I don't know. Big J-Bone, my sons and nephew won't sit through a game. I don't think it's even about the team. There's just too many options. Yeah, man, it's hard to keep these kids focused. Corker X, I asked AI, how many points do you need to score on average to win 50% of your games in the NFL? The answer is 22, 21.9. Oh, sorry, folks. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes about sense. And the Browns have averaged, what, 16? I'm saying sorry as if I thought that I had moved the camera, but I hadn't. I just moved my computer because, to be honest, as I always am, I need a tissue right now. I thought I had one on my desk here that I work on, and I don't. So, let's see. Doug, Bernie Kosar for head coach or at least offensive coordinator. Now, listen, Bernie is not in a position to physically handle being a head coach, unfortunately. He's obviously dealing with a lot of medical stuff. He needs a transplant, liver transplant. But when it comes to football, Bernie, to this day, even with all he's been through mentally and physically, is sharp as a tack. Like, if you talk to him, especially, like, we have him on the show, but if you talk to Bernie one-on-one, like you're just hanging out, if you get that opportunity, sharp as a tack. He remembers everything from his career. Bernie's dealt with his demons. It's a shame that he never got an opportunity to be more involved in coaching because he probably would have been amazing at it. A lot of really good players are not. Bernie wasn't obviously not a Hall of Famer, but he was a hell of a quarterback, and I think he could have been a really good coach, but that ship has sailed. Aiden Griswold, if Stefanski is this bad, maybe Deshaun wasn't the problem, yeah. Oh, he's still the problem. He's not getting off the hook. Big J-Bone, I never wanted the name back when they left. I had dreams of new merch that all the other teams' fans envied. It's interesting. Sean Finnerty, the Browns have the greatest uniforms in the league. We will never change them, Bull. I think they probably won't change them, but I don't agree that they're the best uniforms in the league. You're probably in the minority even amongst Browns fans, but everybody's entitled to their opinion. Will Smith, publisher, says, I don't see Kevin ever being a head coach in the NFL ever again. I know a lot of people would disagree with that, Will. Mr. King, how did Mikey get the name McNuggets? I know Joe Thomas gave it to him, but what's the backstory? Joe Thomas was on our show the first week we were on the air. I don't remember how it came about that he called him McNuggets. I don't remember. I'll have to try to ask Mike about it. I can't remember. how that started. But Joe called him Mikey McNuggets, and Joe Thomas gives you a nickname. It sticks, and it has. It will be with him forever. Z says, who is your dream head coach for this team? It's an interesting question. To be totally honest, I haven't really fully thought about it yet. It's so hard. Like, as I said, I'm not going to get to interview these guys. You know, my first inclination is to think about a good coordinator. Who is a good leader of men who's not too old? I want a guy who's, I think in a perfect scenario, I'd like a guy who has experience as a head coach, who is a motivator, and doesn't be over the top. Just because Stefanski's not like that doesn't mean we have to go completely the opposite way, but like a motivator type leader that hires two coordinators and just oversees the situation. I don't want him to be too old because you want to hire a guy that, if it goes well, could be the coach for 10, 15 years. So somebody preferably in late 40s, early 50s, who's in the second go-around. And I'm going to have to think about it some more. It's hard, man. It's hard finding the right coach, and it's hard to believe that Jimmy Haslam will actually get it right since he is clueless. Jeffrey says, I think we should give play calling to Tommy Reese, see if that will help first. Not a bad idea, but I don't think it'll happen. Ken Adams, Bull, could you build a Super Bowl team if the only teams you could choose from are the Browns and the Bengals? Well, of course. I mean, does Joe Burrow get to be healthy again? They would be the best team in football. Without a doubt. Okay, so here's the team. We got Joe Burrow quarterback. I got my two running backs, Quinshon Judkins and Chase Brown. Right? I don't even need a third quarterback. But a third running back. Okay, so here's this is going to be fun. I want to do this. So assuming everybody's healthy, right? So Joe Burrow's my starting quarterback. The backup quarterback, I don't even know. There's nobody really any good. So who I got to pick a backup quarterback. I'm gonna take. I'll just take. You know what? As terrible as he's been, I'll just stick with Jake Browning since he has that connection with Joe at quarterback as like being his backup. And then we'll keep Shador as our third quarterback, waiting in the wings. All right. Running back. Judkins is my running back 1. Chase Brown is my running back 2. They're actually a perfect combo. They would be a perfect combo together. Judkins, the big bruiser. Then I get Chase Brown out on the edge. Throw him some passes. So I like that. As my third back, I'm going to take Samaje Perine as my third back. So then I'll go with my starting receivers would be Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and then my third receiver would be Jerry Jeudy. And then I would have, let's see, I'd keep 5 receivers. So I'd take Yoshi Voss from the Bengals, and then Cedric Tillman. I'll keep him as my 5th receiver if he's healthy. I got Njoku, Harold Fannin, and Gesicki and Noah Fant. So I'm keeping 4 tight ends. The offensive line would be the biggest problem, honestly, because neither team. But I'll take Orlando Brown, the Bengals left tackle. We'll go with Bitonio at left guard. We'll go with Pocic at center. I'll go with Wyatt at right guard. And then we'll go – it's actually the Browns' offensive line with Orlando Brown at left tackle. But my depth's a little better because Amarius Mims, the Bengals' right tackle, is, serviceable. They got a young guard named I can't even think of his name, who's not bad and improving, and the Bengals center's all right. So at least we'd have some depth there. All right, so we're loaded on offense. The offensive line's a little dicey, but I have so much talent at the skill positions that I'm good to go. Now, On the defensive line, I've got let's see. I just want to think about the Bengals D line if there's anybody but Hendrickson I want to put out there at all. All right, so on the outside, I got Myles Garrett and Trey Hendrickson. In the middle, I'm starting Malik Collins and Mason Graham. So that's my 4. You're not going to beat that. Then I got as depth pieces Shamar Stewart, who the Bengals drafted, Isaiah McGuire, Alex Wright. And so that's my top 7 at defensive end. I got Mike Hall Jr. I've got B.J. Hill as my 3rd and 4th defensive tackles. At linebacker, I've got oh my God, I'm forgetting. The hell's wrong with me? Forgetting one of the Bengals. Why can't I think of his name? Oh, my God. That's how lost I am on the Bengals right now. I got to bring up the Bengals depth chart because of Logan Wilson. I couldn't even think of Logan Wilson. My God. I didn't even watch the Bengals game this week. So at linebacker, I got Schlesinger, Logan Wilson, and then we'll go with Devin Bush. And then in the secondary, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I've taken any Bengals from the secondary. I think the Bengals' whole secondary stinks. So we maybe got a little bit of an issue with safety. I'll take the 3 Browns corners when Emerson's healthy. I'll throw in DJ Turner, who's a young player, as the 4th corner. We'll go with Delpit, Geno Stone, and Jordan Battle as the backup safeties, and Ronnie Hickman. I don't really have a good second safety, even with the 2 teams combined. So there you go. We'll go with the Bengals kicker, Evan McPherson. Even though they didn't have a great year last year, I'd still take him. We'll probably go with, you know what? I would say we go with the Browns punter, but all these things about him not holding well, maybe we'll go with the Bengals punter. I like him. He's a kid they got last year. Ricow. I can't even remember how to pronounce his name. That's it. That's my Bengals-Browns team that I think could win the Super Bowl. Should win the Super Bowl if healthy. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Corker X. Better nickname, McNuggets or Megatron? Definitely Megatron, but McNuggets is good. DC5345. Write a blank check to Ozzie Newsome to come out of retirement for the GM. Bring in who he wants. Get the Baltimore stink off and make the Brown. I would do that. I would do that. I actually love that idea, bringing Ozzie Newsome back, but I don't think it would happen. James B. Every game Baker Mayfield wins is a reason to fire Barry Stefanski and fumigate the building, and Haslam needs to go back to Tennessee and leave Ohio permanently. I think there's a little revisionist history in Baker Mayfield. Baker played a role in running himself out of town. There's definitely truth to that, whether you want to believe it or not. Baker refused to talk to the head coach at the end of that season, long before they went after Deshaun Watson. And Baker didn't handle himself well at the end of that season. And even Baker has said he needed to fall on his face. Baker's playing great. All right? If you love Baker, you've been vindicated. I mean, he is playing tremendous football. He's playing like an all-pro. All due credit. Top 10 quarterback. He's been excellent. But I don't think he was ever going to be this guy here in Cleveland. And he'd probably tell you the same. He basically has. That being said, I agree with the rest of what you're saying. Mr. King, Bengals offense, Browns defense, plus Hendrickson. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, you take the Bengals skill position players, Browns offensive line plus the Bengals left tackle, And then Trey Hendrickson, Logan Wilson, and the defense is basically Browns with Hendrickson and Logan Wilson. Yeah, the Browns get tight ends there. I want Judkins in the mix. You'd actually have more players in my starting lineup. There'd be more Browns than Bengals. But obviously the key players on offense would be Bengals. Bruce Elliott, Flacco with those receivers. Joe Jones, good job, longtime Browns fan. Let's see. Corcorex, just take Burrow, Chase, T, and add this defense. Done. Mr. King, 562, better chance to come back, Yankees or Cubs? Man, Cubs got a 3-run homer in the top of the first last night. I was so excited. I'm like, all right, we're going to tie the series up, go back to Wrigley, and here we go. And then the Brewers come right back in the bottom of the first 3-run homer, and they win it. I don't think either is going to come back. I guess I'll say the Cubs. I don't know. I'll say the Cubs, but I don't think either team has any chance. I shouldn't say that. It's 3 games. It's not, impossible. Dog Chomp's a little biased there, don't you think? There's that many Browns on offense? LOL, just kidding. Agreed and fun. Good team, Bull. Corcorex, Baker even admitted he made mistakes back in Cleveland. Yeah, he had to grow up. Michael, you're right. Give him credit for making changes. I give Baker a ton of credit. I couldn't stand him when he was here. I thought he acted like an idiot. He was immature. He's turned it all around. I've become a fan. I got to admit it. Couldn't stand the guy. I've become a fan. His game is much better. He handles the media much better. I like, when he's talking crap to the fan from the Seahawks. I got no problem with that. His teammates love him. The guy grew up and has become a hell of a player. Ken says, I can't give Stefanski the benefit of the doubt anymore. He's the one common denominator through it all. Big J-Bone, people act like Baker was playing like that when he was here in the end. That's right. Badge of honor. If the Browns are not going to win, no serious coaching, no wide receivers, etc., at least let the fans have fun. Put number 12 in. We love watching him play. Don't bore us to death and lose these games. I think you'll get that chance eventually. I think you will. Just not yet. I think it's fair to give Dylan Gabriel a few weeks to see can he turn the team around? Can he play at a high level? We'll see. I'm not optimistic, but Mr. King, can't wait for Mikey to say the Cavs have the greatest offense in the history of the NBA. Badge of honor, Stefanski offense is a bore. Ain't that the truth? Big J-Bone, if they put 12 in and he sucks, it won't be anyone's fault but the Browns and Stefanski. Yeah, that's not fair. If we're going to criticize if we're going to criticize other quarterbacks, which I have and we have, you can't. If Shador plays terribly, I'm sure some of it will be the fault of others, but you can't give him a total pass if he plays terribly. Jeffrey, the issues with Shador is the way he handles pressure is scary. Look at his second preseason game. It's a preseason game. I'm not reading anything into that. All right, folks, we've been on here forever. I came on late, but then we went longer than we've ever gone. It's been a weird show today. Weird show. But I appreciate you all sticking with me and being on with me today. I was feeling a little emotional about a lot of things today, and I appreciate it. Hope I didn't bore you earlier with the baseball stuff, but I appreciate it. I really appreciate my fans and support. I went Saturday night. Nate Bargatze is my favorite comedian, and he's become huge now. But I liked him like long before he blew up, went on Saturday Night Live and all that stuff, did the George Washington sketch. But I went to see him Saturday night, and so many fans. I was with my wife and my son, and I know a lot of people who went to the show. He sold out the Rocket Arena 2 nights in a row for a comedian, which is amazing. But anyway, I saw so many fans, so many people were like, Bull, sometimes it's funny because I'll see somebody looking at me, and I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, okay, this person knows who I am. And I try to look friendly because I want people to say hi because I'm not standoffish. I'm not one of these, assholes in the media who thinks, I don't want to talk to the fans like people are peasants. It's disgusting behavior. So I'm happy when people come up to me. I'm always happy to say hi and chat. But it's funny because I could tell sometimes when somebody's looking at me, they're like, should I say something? So I always try to, look friendly because sometimes I could look a little gruff and I don't mean to. But anyway, if you do see me, please feel free to say hi. But don't. I was in a restaurant the other day, and when I was eating, somebody came up and said hi, which is fine. I don't mind that. But I don't want to shake somebody. I don't want to shake hands while I'm eating because I'm a little uptight about my hands being clean when I eat. It's an OCD thing with me. It's not has nothing to do with the person. Like, it's not because I think you're unclean or something. I just don't want to touch anybody's hand while I'm eating. So if I'm in a restaurant, even if I'm eating, come by and say hi. It's totally fine. But I'm not going to shake hands. I'll give you a fist bump. Whatever, I'll talk to you. I just don't want to shake hands, but it's not because I think I'm a big shot or I just don't want to shake hands. That's my ish. I don't want to shake hands while I'm eating because then I gotta go. Because what I'm gonna do is end up going to wash my hands anyway, and I feel bad. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I just come on, you know what it is. Anyway, Jay says, take care, y'all. Stay blessed. Ken, great show. Bull, thank you. Mr. King, Shane Gillis is hilarious. I'm not a huge fan of his. I see why people like him. I don't mind him. He's just not. Nate Bargatze is chump. If you haven't seen Nate Bargatze, just go watch him. I just connect with him. He's similar. He's younger than me. He's probably like maybe 8 years younger than me. But his kid is the same age as mine. It's funny because he's like from Tennessee, which couldn't be more different than how I grew up. But there's just something about him. I really relate to him, and I love his sense of humor, and I love the little he seems so real. Maybe all his stories are bullshit. Maybe he makes them up. My guess is he just embellishes things that have happened to him. But he's great, and his deliveries. And not that I care, because you folks know I curse all the time, but he's a clean comic. He doesn't do any sexual humor. So I, bring my son to see him, and it's not an issue. It was really cool. I met a lot of awesome people that night. I had a bad dining experience, though, which I'm not going to say where it was, but it was bad. Outside of the arena. Aiden, Griswold, Burrow, or Jackson. If you guarantee me they'd both stay healthy, I would take Joe Burrow, but I mean, it's a coin flip. Mr. King, Jason Lloyd is punching a fan. He's probably not punching it. Oh, if somebody tries to come up to him? No, Jason's, for all his talk, Jason, if you meet Jason in person, he's very friendly. He's not going to big time anybody. No, I don't know many people in the Cleveland media that would do that. I mean, we're not have millions of people following us. I mean, we're Cleveland guys. Nobody's doing that shit. And if somebody does call him out, tell me about it. I'll rip him. If any member of the Cleveland media acts like a jerk when you meet him, tell me. I'll rip him. That's bullshit. I would hope that even if I had, and the ship has sailed for me, but I don't know. I've seen. My guess is that some of the national guys, if you tried to talk to them on the street or something, they'd probably be jerks, and I hate that. And I've heard some stories, whatever, but. I'm never becoming a national superstar at this point. That ship has sailed for me. So it's easy for me to say what I would or wouldn't do, but I can't imagine I would ever be shitty to someone who's a fan of mine, someone who appreciates my work. And I love it. I mean, when I run into people and they tell me, I love your work. Some guy said to me the other day when I was at the concert, this guy comes up to me and goes, dude, you're my idol. I'm like, I'm blown away when people say these things to me. I mean, it's really, like I said, we all get in our heads sometimes. You can get down on yourself. I mean, I can, as much as I make fun of other people, I crap on myself probably, in my brain, in my head, more than I crap on anybody else. And when people tell you they love what you do or thank you for doing, I was going through a hard time and I heard you talking about this or whatever, and you're my idol. I mean, this stuff just blows me away. So I will never be crappy to a fan ever, unless you were crappy to me. And well, that's only happened one time. I had one person that was an asshole. One. I've met maybe 1,000 people by now. I've had one bad interaction. And that's because the guy was being an asshole. That was it. So, anyway. Corker X, Bull or Tyvis is the most approachable UCSS personality. You know, all the guys on the show are approachable. Tyvis obviously is awesome. G. Bush. Well, you don't think he's approachable? Jason may seem unapproachable. He's approachable. Tyvis is awesome. Love Tyvis. Mr. King, check out Crispy Pizza in Brooklyn. Okay. I've tried a couple of new pizzerias recently that I haven't loved. Z says, I want to be Adam the Bull when I grow up. You're a legit great dude and do a great job. Thank you, Z. Oh, my God. It's 10 o'clock. Kool-Aid Ninja, Bull is underrated. Let's go. Thank you, folks. And by the way, I said that I appreciate the compliments. Don't feel like you have to give me a compliment just because I said that. But I do appreciate it. Smish Fishton, Bull is a good dude. Debbie, I appreciate you. Big J-Bone, Bull, you remind me of the old school sports guys around here. You would have fit in right in with them. Good old Pete Franklin, huh? Corcorex, G. Bush would scare me. I know G. Bush is, he's intimidating. He's 6'5", 300 pounds. He's a teddy bear, man. G. Bush is the nicest guy you're going to meet. So if you see G. Bush, 100% go talk to him and say hello. He couldn't be a nicer person. The warden says Romito's in Independence. Best pizza. I've never even heard of that place. Mr. King says G. Bush is tearing his ACL if a fan approaches. There's a chance of that. That's definitely possible. He is a mess physically. Love the guy. I feel so bad for him. You don't even know half of it what this guy goes through physically. It's not pretty. I love you all. I appreciate it today. Thank you all for joining me. Next podcast, like I said, I'm talking with Jay Gruden tomorrow. We'll put that podcast out probably sometime tomorrow or Thursday. Mary Kay Cabot live with me in the bullpen Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Dustin back with me next week. We'll talk to you next time. Where else but right here? Oh, of course, thanks to Z and Alex for producing. In the bullpen, brought to you by Bet Rivers. See y'all. Good night. Good night.